afternoon. Like I said, our focus is on headline, functions of headlines. Headline is a very important element in magazine production. If you want your magazine to make waves, to make good name, to make good impact, to lead in the society, then you have to cultivate the habit of casting good headlines. It is a creative exercise, which of course you cannot toy with. You must work very hard on it to make it sell your magazine. So that is what I said. Headline is the single most important element of every print advertisement or your paper or magazine. I say whether it's the advertisement, uh, magazine, or your adverts. So, or your newspaper. It's more than a title or a label for your message. It's more than that. It is the salesperson opening line. It is the foot in the door. It is the first and most lasting impression. It's the first and most lasting impression. It's the first you come in contact with and also the one you part with. So you can't afford to be careless about your headlines. Headlines with the power to attract. It can attract people, it can repel, and it can or slip by readers unnoticed. To write headlines, you must understand how words affect people and generate action. Now, and that takes us to the function of headlines. What are the functions of headline? There are four functions of headline. Four. The first one is attention attraction. Attention attraction. Headlines attract attention. And of course, that is the most significant function or duty of the headline in a magazine or even in a newspaper or an advert. Two, it selects an audience. It targets the audience and select them. For instance, there may be an headline for the youth. I mean, you can say youth, youth boycotts assembly. In that word youth there, I mean, is selecting an audience for a particular attention. Youth boycotts assembly or youth barricade national assembly. That is something catching attention of a particular audience. So it can select or say, another one may say, women or mothers sit at home. Mothers, do this, and that. So you can single out audiences. If you want to do that, use your headline. Then three, the third function is to deliver a complete message. It helps to deliver a complete message. And four, it draws the reader's attention into the body. It draws the reader's attention to the body. These are the four functions, major functions of a headline in a magazine or newspaper on an advert. Now, don't look at these tags as a consequence of events, too. Headline performs them simultaneously. You see, we are saying that they don't stand alone. These functions stand alone. You must be able to integrate these purposes or functions into one headline, meaning that if you attract attention, catch an audience, deliver the message, and also attract the body of the newspaper or magazine. So in that wise, it requires that it is a creative and tasking exercise because it's going to let's say four functions in one, four questions in one. So I said I have notes here for you to actually take you there to further explain it. I said that if no one notices your publication, you have wasted your money. Therefore, every headline must attract attention. You can do this by appealing to your reader's self-interest, by announcing news, offering useful information, or by using words such as free, size, and placement of headlines. So the size, the size and placement of headlines can also help to stop the high. You know, the use of size and placement. That is the size you use for the typefaces and also where you place them. If you place them as banner headline, that you want to catch attention and attracts the reader into the body. So the size and placement is always very important for you to use. One design rule term, I know means a law that headline is illustration. You know, it's an illustration and it that takes you into the body of the copy. Uh, then, secondly, we said headlines helps to select your best prospects. You know, it will simply attract attention by printing in bold type. You know, bold type headline. When you have your headlines in bold types, it attracts attention. You know, and select your audience. Like I said, when you have mothers and youth that they get at them. So when you use, uh, for instance, here full frontal nudity. I know you are selling a new edition of the Bible headline. This headline will sadly backfire. You know, look at this one. Full frontal nudity. If you place a naked woman, for instance, and you're advertising a Bible, new version of the Bible, and you place a woman, you know, that's that nude picture will destroy the message or what you are trying to sell. So what is important is that you have to know is that it attracts, can use to select your audience, select your best prospect. Then thirdly, I said headline delivers complete message. You can use it to deliver a message. Headlines are another example of all-purpose 80 to 20 rule. Studies have shown that that 8 out of every 10 prospects will read absolutely nothing but headline. That is what research has shown. So you have to make sure that your headlines is actually, is crafty, is loaded, and conveys the message. So then fourthly, the headlines pulls the reader into the body, into the body, facts about it. So the fact that 2 out of 10 guys will take time to read your headlines, you strive to up the odds and draw many readers as possible into your body. This is the only way to deliver a full dress representation. So that is a nutshell about the headlines. Now there are some said 9 powerful headline strategies which you can adopt, and of course to assist you in having making your headlines to be impactful for you to have the desired results. So we're going to treat that. I said 9 powerful headline strategies that work, that actually does the job to sell your magazine, your newspaper, as it may be, or even your advertisement, your ad copy. Go for magazine, for newspaper, or your ad. The first rule is the strategy. Say it simply and direct. Say it simply and direct. You don't, no joke, you have to be direct, say simple and direct. That's the first one. Then the second is I state the big benefits. State the benefits of the story. What people stand to get. For instance, Jumbo Pay for, you can say Jumbo Pay for retirees. Jumbo Pay for retirees. That headline tells you what the retirees are going to benefit. Jumbo Pay for, that is where you state the benefit. It's another approach. It's strategy. Say it simple, state the big benefit they are likely to benefit when they. Please mute your microphone, please. It's disturbing. Mute your microphone, except when you want to talk. Now, so you state another approach is to state the benefits in your headline. I can give you an example of when you say Jumbo Pay for retirees. I mean, that tells you the benefits the terrorists are going to take from, I mean, the government. Then three, announce excitement news. Your headline should not be dull. It should be exciting. You know, be exciting. Let it have human. It's just basic human nature. We are curious. We not only want to know, we need to know. Casting that is a way that suggests news rather than just advertising. You know, so let it be enthusiastic. It should be bright. It should be lively. Don't let don't use it dull. Your headline may be dull. Let it excite action into people. That is uh, third strategy. The fourth strategy is to appeal to the how instinct. The how trailer appeals to the need of most of us. When that is how approach. That I mean, for instance, if is a way to teach the audience something, how to survive in Corona era, for instance, how that's appeal, you know, that is kind of a strategy of how to, how, you know, how to say, how to survive or survival in Corona era, how to survive during Corona era or Corona time, adopting the how appeal. That's another strategy you can adopt. Then fifth, uh, pose a provocative question. A provocative question. That is using uh, the direct, the question approach. Big question approach. You can say, for instance, Buhari, you know, uh, Buhari to recently 2 days ago, the president announced uh, uh, announced a pay to some category of people in Nigeria. And how we can put in the equation to prove what other Nigerians, what for other Nigerians, what for other Nigerians. Buhari pay Nigeria, pay traders, what other Nigerians. Trying to uh, bring up a question that will provoke people to read. If you look at the pay something, the payment arrangement, the social facility for people to cushion the effects of the harsh effect of this stay-at-home order, it only takes care of a section of people. So in the money market, the farm market, and I want to, I mean, it's not comprehensive enough. It's not comprehensive enough. So you can draw a headline, to put up a provocative question to provoke the president, to further action, into further action. What about the youth corpers? You know, youth corpers, I mean, Buhari's pay, youth corpers and youth corpers faith. Buhari's pay, Buhari's allowance. People, what's the take home for disabled? What's the take home for disabled? Buhari's pay, colon, Buhari's pay, what's the take home for the take home for disabled? These are people who have been neglected in this arrangement. Disabled and the youth, unemployed youth, most of whom, of course, some of them are even in the NYC. There's no assurance that they're going to give them any money. 30,000 naira take them home. They are in far places, I mean, on their own. How would they survive in this era? And even some of them are not even paid. So many questions. So you can just put a red line to bring about, to provoke the government into action, as we are saying. Then sixth, you can also, if I use the command approach, you can use the command approach. Many headlines fall flat because they fail to tell the leader what to do. Sometimes the people want to be guided. They want to be guided. So you can use the command approach. Like I set an example here. Be today's complete drafter. If you advertise, okay, be today's uh, uh, what have you. You can give an example that that will imply command. Now you can use command approach. Just, telling people what to do. Pay your tax, for instance. Pay your tax, pay your VAT. Then put the rider couldn't, whether the employed or the rich, the assembly uh, members, pay your tax. Something to, effect a command approach, human interest approach, a question approach. These are various approaches you can use. So, and you have to make it lively, it must be excited from the human angle as well. Then also, you can adopt the strategy of useful information by providing useful information. When you give useful information uh, through your headline, for instance, 20 most important steps to live longer. You know, 20 most important steps to live longer. You know, we are trying to give an information that is useful. So it will also come as an headline. That's another approach, another strategy you can adopt. And eight, you can relate an honest, enthusiastic testimonial. You know, testimonial approach. We witnessed it. We saw it. Who? The youth or people, but we witnessed, we pay. Or we received, we received, we pay. Or farmers who have been asked to be given money in this period, you can interview them and you take their story to take a lead and you cast an headline. Nigerian farmers, we receive the pay. Something like that. It is testimonial to testify that actually something had happened. That is testimonial approach. And finally, uh, authenticated position with a little something extra. Uh, what this means is that you can, you know, authenticate your position is close to the one that is closer to the one that talks about, useful information. If you have information that will actually make people to believe in something, you can state it. You know, that's an approach. What we are saying is that headlines should not be dull. Headlines must be active. Headlines must actually do their job to command attention, attract attention, to lead people into the body of the message which you are publishing. So it must be an active something from human angle, from question angle, from information, useful information angle, and from severally from this angle. So this is what uh, we need to know. That is a creative exercise. It's something we have to really think of. For you to deliver those functions we have earlier talked about. So this is how far you can go. I will send the materials to you for you to further read the lines and get other materials as well. So that what is important is that you should know that headline is a significant element in magazine production, as well as in newspaper or even advertisements. Thank you very much. So I would like you for your you can uh, unmute yourself and ask questions. But before we go, we have a break, short again. We go on into the processes of magazine production. So, hello? Hello? Questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, are you going to send us the materials?
Yes, I'm sending them right to you.
Okay, all right. That's the question.
Okay. Omo, the mother of the house.
Yes, sir. Eh?
I said the mother of the house.
Yes, sir. Nami.
She said, Nami.
Yes, sir. You are good mother. Okay, let's have 5 minutes break or 10 minutes break.
So the time is
sip water. Then we'll start the process of production today. Then we'll continue it next week. I just want to start. Okay. So let's have a small break. Then we'll come on board again and start. I want to take a sip of water. So I'm going to give just about 15 minutes. Then we now proceed for the other one. Now,
Let's start.
uh,
Sir, are
yes,
we done?
yes. Now our focus this afternoon is going to be on the magazine production process. The magazine production process. We ought to have gone for the field trip, but in lieu of that, I decided to give you the process so that we have the process. You can know the ABC of magazine producing a magazine. First and foremost, I want you to know that the duration for producing a magazine is different from the duration of a newspaper. Uh, we are going to take a look at the process that every magazine goes through before it is produced or made into a finished product for consumption of the public. Magazines, unlike newspapers, take quite a long time to be produced. That's the fact. It takes a long time to be produced. The average magazine takes about 3 months to be produced, whereas newspapers, especially the dailies, take less than 24 hours to be produced. So to that extent, you have to pay attention to all the stages. Uh, I have about 10 stages here, but today we'll just go on to the first three. Then we'll continue in the next class. Now let us take a quick look at the production process of a magazine. The steps are as follows. One, if you want to produce a magazine, you must uh, decide on a date of publication. Just as we have done at that time, I said we have to make it a quarterly production. From January to March edition, April to June edition, July to September edition, and October to December edition. So this is the way you must decide the publication date. The first thing to do is to set up a date of publication. The date of publication is simply the date that you want the magazine to be released as a finished product to the general public. Once this date has been established, then you are now operating within a schedule. If you don't decide a date of publication, then you can produce forever. But once you have done a date, for instance, like we earlier planned, we're going to have our magazine to be within April and June. April and June. That is the second quarter of the year, April to June. So we have a focus, a date of production in focus, meaning that this month, this magazine must be ready before the exam. It must be ready. So that is the first thing to do. A schedule is your plan on how you are going to go about the publication process and when each of the process will occur. Okay, now after you have that, you are going for a schedule. You are examining the dates of operation, then that leads you to you having a schedule. You must have now you have said April to June. It's going to be out in April, and you distribute it across up to June before another edition. So what you need to do that you now have to develop a plan, a working plan, a schedule. Now, how do you manage the plan? That's the second thing, the second step, managing the schedule. This is an extremely important step that you should not take for granted when it comes to the production of a magazine. You can't afford to take it for granted because before you know it, time is gone. So you must count day by day, hour by hour. Every day, you have 1 month to produce, and 1 month you break it down into days, and you follow it step by step. That is the spirit by which you want. By which magazine is produced. If you want magazine to produce successfully, then you must properly manage the schedule. Your schedule should be made in such a way that there are provisions for certain mishaps, so that even when these mishaps occur, or some emergency like the one we are experiencing now, we never plan to have this kind of holiday. Like we had planned to go to for the field trip last week, but it couldn't hold for emergencies. Now, even then, in our schedule, and as I brought up this, to take care of the emergency. Now, if I not go to the field trip, let me now discuss the production process with you. So I have kept that in view before. I wanted us to see it practically, but in view of that, you cannot have it that way, then you can have it. I mean, this way we are having it. So you can always meet your deadline so that you can meet your deadline. This is the reason why a proper management of the schedule is very vital. Create your plan. Create your plan. Going backward from the dates taken into consideration and obstacles you can anticipate that may prolong process. Now, what are those things your schedule should take care of? Your schedule should at the very least include the following considerations. That is your plan. One, the deadlines for when the story must be submitted to the editors. The deadline, when every story must have a deadline, that is the content. Then after that, you must decide the time for proofreading. You must decide time for proofreading. Thirdly, you must design a schedule of work from point to point. After proofreading, the edit, proofreading, from this edit, it goes for production so time. There must be time with time, schedule with time, with timing. Let me put that there, with timing. Must do with timing. You cannot just be without timing. So that is very important. Then, enough time for the editorial board, if you have one, you must be there with the editorial board to look over the magazine and have their comments. Or like we said, we have the management board, the editorial management board, comprising the leaders of the group. We must leave time for them to go by one page to page, one by one, and vet it. Because when the publication is out, the body is on their head. So you also have to keep them in view in your plan. Then your printing deadline, when you want to print, go to press, you must state it. Then when you want to start to distribute. So these are the key things that must be accommodated. Excuse me. Yes, we are rounding up now.
Because somebody said that they changed it to 1 hour per class.
We are running off now. We're going to continue from next class. So this is schedule. Then the third thing which we want to create a detailed plan for each story. You create a detailed plan for each story. But this is very important. We are confined overall content plan, and I'm going to give that. You also create a plan for each story. What is your plan for the story coming on board as the content? So next class, we're going to continue from where we stopped, the process of magazine production. Now let's talk about the assignments. We are going to have assignments in place of the test. So I expect that by next week, everybody should turn in your various assignments up to the points you have done in your future articles and also your interviews or your news stories, your advert, whatever you have done. This is going to take the 40%. So I expect to have this by next Tuesday morning. So go into your portal, submit it there so that we can have it. Meanwhile, I'm going to have this, I will post this material for you so that you can read ahead before we meet in the next class. Finally, you have to note that this class has been changed according to the Porter timetable. We should also have 3:14, 11 to within from 11, then also 3:10 magazine from 2. So maybe 11 to 12:30, then 2 to 3:30. As the case may be. So any question before we round up?
Sir, I have a question.
Okay, welcome.
The assignments, which one of them is for the midterms, or you mean all of them?
I mean, the assignments already, they are due. They are due for the last week or so, all the assignments. Because, you know, on the calendar of the university, you're supposed to have your test, your midterm test from 6th to 10th.
Yes.
But what I can do is I'll give you up to 10th. Let me give you up to 10th. Make sure you submit everything before 10th. I don't know when
So all
today
the
is
assignments are for the midterms?
Is that one?
All the assignments given?
All the assignments, please. Whatever you have done, please submit them because they have given us deadline as when to upload the results. So submit them via your portal. Submit them there. I'll put the deadline date there.
So can we submit to your email?
Let's make it, there are no provisions for it on the portal.
Okay.
But if you want to, well, except you cannot go, but I think the portal is okay since they have been arranged for it on the portal, so that I can access it and mark it, and I think because the midterm mid-semester test is supposed to be within 6th and 10th, I think. So let us have it by 10th. Today is 31st. That we have about 10 days. So please make sure you submit the assignment, both for these papers and also for your magazines.
So I have a question.
Yes, what's the question?
The group assignments, how are we going to submit them individually, or I don't understand?
The group assignment, put your report together. You can send out to my email if you want to, or you then just put the ones you have together, and with the reports, every leader you send the report to me as well, because the report is going to assist in the grading.
Okay. All right.
You have 10 days now, so there's no excuse because you have given us a deadline to load the results. So let it come here. I would have said before that, but I'm giving you, every time to make sure you complete before that. So let us make it on the 9th, so that I can have that one day to mark. If it's ready before that time, please send it in. If it's ready now,
Okay, sir.
start uploading it so that I begin to work on it. Exactly, because that is more working. Exactly.
Yes,
So,
sir.
please, once again, take note of the time. Take note of the time, please. Please, take note of the time for next week from 11. That goes this. Thank you very much.